Hey everyone, Paul Johnson, Waconia, Minnesota, and the Laughing Trout Fly Tying Club. Today I'm going to be tying a poly wing Adams. Very similar to a parachute Adams. I just like to have this style with the hackle wrapped a conventional way that an Adams would have been tied. I use a poly wing because I've never been able to find the right feathers to make the wings or make them look good. So I just think the poly is a little bit easier for me to make a good looking fly, at least consistently good looking fly. So I tie this fly on a size 16, 1XL long dry fly hook. The tail is some rooster hackle, oversized rooster hackle in brown and grizzly. The abdomen is Superfine Adams gray dubbing. The wing is white Congo hair from Fly Tier's Dungeon. And then it does have a collar of some grizzly and brown hackle. So it will have a traditional wing like you'd find on a regular Adams. So let's get started here. The hook in my vise. Little fuzz on there, got to get that off of there, driving me nuts. Okay, for a thread, I'm going to be using gray 14-aught. I'm going to start at about the 3/4 point on the hook and then tie back. And then I'll clip that excess off back at the bend of the hook. So what I took is an oversized feather. So a grizzly and a brown, just pick off some of them. Try to line the tips up as best as I can on my desktop, and that'll form the tail. Coke de Leon would certainly make a good tail, or even like a Zelon would be fine as well. I want my tail to be not quite a hook shank in length, so I'm just going to give me one wrap there, and then I'm just going to check, and I'm okay with that length tail. I'll further tie that down. Come in and clip off the excess. Bring my thread back to the bend of the hook and form a dubbing noodle. And so if you ever have trouble with dubbing, get some of this super fine dubbing, because once it seems to touch your thread, you can hardly get it off. So I always like to use a little bit less than what you think you're going to need, and it's easier to add to it. So we just get that started. Now we want to form just a slight taper from back to front. You can go back over it a little bit there, so I'll add just a touch more. All right, that should do me good. And then up to that 3/4 point. All right, so now for the wing, I've got some a small clump of that white Congo here, and we'll see how this goes to tie this in. So what I like to do, and hope you can see it here, is to tie it with some X wraps. So 3 in each direction. Now I'm going to come underneath and tie in 3 more X wraps. Okay, so now I've got that in place pretty good. Now I'm going to come around and wrap around each wing like you would on a parachute fly. Come underneath, and then I'm going to do my near side the same way. All right, that looks pretty good. Now what I like to do in addition to that is make kind of a thread dam in front of the wing. Just kind of seems to hold that in place a little bit better. Bring the thread to the back of the wing. And so what I have is I have a brown and a grizzly rooster hackle. And what I want is the shiny side of the feather facing up towards me. You can see I kind of clip the ends of it to give some place for me to tie my thread in. And I'd like to leave it almost looking like a little comb to give that thread a little bit something to bite into. Okay, now pull it forward gently. Make a full turn with both hackles behind the wing. You can wrap them one at a time, or I just use tie them both at the same time. Now I'm going to come underneath the wing and make a full turn in front of the wing, bringing it up and around, and then go behind with my tying thread, in front, behind, and in front. Now I'll come in there and clip those feathers off. All right, now we're just going to try to push everything back just a touch. And now I'll do a couple whip half hitches here. You can whip finish or half hitch, whatever works best for you. I just feel with these feathers in the front like that, it's easier to do some half hitches and get that out of there. All right, now I'm going to trim those wings so they're just a little taller than the hackle is. So there it is, a poly wing Adams. A little bit crooked in my vise here. So there, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.